I don't even have it written down, but I'm already recording and we're going to just roll with it. Welcome back to the Creatively Challenged podcast for Monday, September 4th. Today we're going to go over some entertainment news. We're going to discuss Game of Thrones this week instead of reviewing a movie because there isn't anything good out there. And I'm one of your hosts. My name's Ryan Nolan. Mike Stuglis is right next to me. How are you?
I am going to make an apology already in the podcast. If you hear me drinking water or talking very quietly, it's because the allergies are kicking my ass right now.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's rough out there. It's not a good life to be living.
Dan Stewart over there. What's up?
I'm also going to make a apology just in case you hear some crunching and chewing because I might have a Kit Kat at some point in time. We were at the store earlier, and I saw Kit Kats, and I picked them up because Kit Kats are pretty good. And, you know, you can't just bite into a Kit Kat like a fucking animal that Ryan is.
Well, let's make this known. You will have a Kit Kat. You're not might. You're definitely gonna reach in.
I have strong wills, but just saying, once we get down into the Game of Thrones talk and, you know, we talk about Jon Snow eating something, and might get a little hungry, you know. So,
Well,
that's just a prior warning.
Don't you want to conserve yourself for our boil later?
Kit Kat's not going to hurt that.
I guess
They're
That's a
light.
Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah, still got to have lunch before that too. That's fair.
It's really too bad you didn't get a bar, though. I could have went for a bite, just of all the bars, just a wide bite.
You know, when we were standing in the checkout line, like I saw like the king size Kit Kat at the little fucking checkout counter. I was tempted to like buy that because they got an American flag on the wrappers now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Is it like in support of something?
I was a support of this goddamn country.
Yeah, you have to take. You can't take a knee while you're eating the Kit Kat.
If there's one thing I think of as a symbol of patriotism and just all around Americanness, it's definitely
It's the
a
Kit
Kit
Kat.
Kat. That's
It's the
the first
Kit Kat.
that comes to mind.
It's the Kit Kat. Yeah.
I'm glad they're doing that. Mike just mentioned we're doing a boil today. If you don't know what the hell that is, it's a crawfish boil. We've never done it before, but I'm excited to do it.
Well, is it really a boil? We had to buy like pre-cooked crawfish because of
Bullshit.
Because of bullshit.
Yeah.
And we forgot to buy brownies. I wanted to make brownies, and we forgot to buy brownies. Well, we're boiling something. We're still boiling Danny potatoes and
Some corn.
some corn.
That's good. So like things are gonna be boiled today,
Yeah,
but
but not the crawfish.
I mean we don't live in Louisiana, so it's really hard to get actual fresh one.
Crayfish or crawfish.
I think that's a regional thing. I don't know that there's a difference between them.
So it's like soda and pop.
I think I'm no expert on the shellfish there, but we're making that today. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, well we said we got some entertainment news.
Yeah, do we? I don't know.
What is it?
All right, so earlier this week on Twitter, we had a tweet from Mark Hamill, who, of course, plays Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars movies. He revealed the new look for Luke Skywalker, and it was on like a magazine cover or something like that. And Luke is wearing all black. And there are some shadows on his face for this photo shoot.
He's got a hood. Yeah.
And I'm showing the picture right now. This is bad radio, but these guys are looking at it.
Well, if you're really interested,
If you're
just look it
interested,
up.
well, who's not interested in Star Wars? So if you're listening to this right now, you go check out the new look for Luke.
It's pretty intense.
But yeah, he looks badass. But people are up in a fucking roar, including myself a little bit. I'm a little worried, obviously. I mean, I have my theories on Star Wars and where they're going with the Jedi and the Force and all of that. I think Luke is going to adapt some dark side stuff, you know, to walk down the middle and be a gray Jedi. But people are really concerned with the new dark look that Luke might just be fucking evil. Like, people are really concerned. I don't think that's going to happen. How can you take one of the greatest, like, movie heroes of all time, who's been a hero for the last 40 years, and then just turn him evil? I don't think they're going to do that.
It'd be cool if he did like some like shady shit though. Like he wasn't like a full-fledged hero now. He did like some anti-hero antics. That'd be kind
Yeah,
of
I mean, if he's got to do some like Batman shit where he's like breaking some arms with the Force, then so be it. That's kind of
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I really don't think Luke Skywalker is gonna be a bad guy. It's just not gonna happen.
The first thing I thought when I saw the photo was I got kind of like a fatherly wisdom look too. Even though he looks kind of dark, he kind of reminded me of a Gandalf or Dumbledore kind of look. He kind of looked like a wizard with his cloak, and I saw another one with his hood up. So he kind of looked like a sorcerer of sorts, and I kind of got that same vibe that I get from them as kind of like a guardian or something.
Well, I mean, maybe Luke was at the Jedi department store and he just thought, hey, you know what? I'll go for black. It's a bit slimming, you know.
Well, let's not forget. I mean, his Return of the Jedi outfit is black.
Yeah, I mean, then what's the deal with this then?
That one's skin tight though.
Because
Yeah.
in The Force Awakens, he's wearing all white.
Yeah.
At
Well,
the
I mean,
end- at the end of The Force Awakens,
we can assume he's got a wardrobe.
He's got a couple of
He's gonna
outfits.
change. Yeah, like
I don't know. Yoda wore the same garb for 900 years.
yeah, but that guy was gross and he lived in like a cave and ate snakes. Like that, like
no, he didn't.
that guy didn't
could've.
care.
He was a Jedi master. He
could have eaten snakes.
He only lived on Dagobah for about like 20 years.
Yeah, he developed dementia and Alzheimer's there. In his little cave.
No,
That's why he didn't notice R2.
The man lives in a swamp. He clearly lost any care he had for how he looks. You know,
Yeah, but
but-
he was eating soup.
it doesn't make you want to change clothes.
There could be snake in that soup.
No,
I had sworn at one point there was like a snake in that movie.
there is. Luke grabs it and like throws it.
Okay,
away
I thought
from
they ate
his
it.
Soup.
I haven't seen Star Wars all the way through.
Are we
quite
really
a
just
bit.
talking about the snake in Return of the Jedi? Right?
Well, this
Yeah.
is all important to the conversation. It's why Yoda doesn't change his clothes. But
I'm sure Luke does.
yeah, but Anakin never did. Obi-Wan was wearing the same garb for 30 years.
Yeah. Well, Anakin sure changed after he lost all those limbs.
Well, yeah.
He went black.
Anyways,
He came back though.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't put on new clothes after that.
I think it's a lot to guess that someone's gonna guess their character from their outfit, at least in Star Wars.
And especially with Luke Skywalker. I mean, what are we talking about
Yeah.
here? Like Luke Skywalker. If they make Luke Skywalker evil, like I might boycott the film.
I'd love that.
I don't. Why?
I think it'd be cool.
That'd be so awesome.
Why?
If it turns out that he was using her in a bad way, like midway through the movie, that'd be dope.
Well, like how
Well, no,
Dumbledore
I mean-
used Harry, kind of. That's what I'm saying. Like he does shady shit.
Yeah, but
I would
here's
really
the
like
thing.
that.
Here's the thing. Through 3 films, the 3 best Star Wars films, Luke Skywalker is the ultimate hero. He already made the choice to be good over evil. Like, that's the whole point of the original trilogy. Is that Anakin went to the dark side and Luke didn't. That's the point.
That's a good point.
That's the whole point of the original movies, and it didn't happen. So why did it happen?
He's not
now?
going dark, so
Well,
we can.
he'll be good. You know.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. I don't think we need to worry.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Only like 3 more months until that movie comes
Yeah,
out.
it's
too.
coming up.
It's September now.
Well, is that all we got on this?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, because the next story is we all in high school had to read The Lord of the Flies. I'm sure a lot of people have read it. It's a very popular book. I like the book a lot. And a new film adaptation has been announced, but instead of the traditional by the books route, they're making the cast all female. So it's instead of English schoolboys, it will be English schoolgirls, maybe. We're not sure. And it's not even like said if it's still set around World War II. It's not said if it's set now, but it's an all-female cast. And there's been a lot of different opinions out there about this, and I'll come into this later with what I think. But Mike, what do you got on this?
Well, I think Barb should play Piggy. Barb from Stranger
Things.
Things.
She's too old.
I was just making a joke.
Too
I-
old
I
to
re-
do the training.
I really don't.
That's a Yoda quote right there.
I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I know some people might, but reading the book, I mean, it's just a group of little kids who end up acting kind of like savages, and I think you could do the same thing with a group of girls. I really don't think it matters entirely, but I'm excited to see a kind of newer adaptation because it's a really good book.
Yeah.
And I really like the I really like the story. It's kind of a blank statement, but
Are you happy that it's being made?
yeah. Because say pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I wonder if they'll change characters' names. Probably, right?
I mean, yeah, you can't have Roger being
Yeah,
a girl.
and Simon.
Yeah, that
But
wouldn't work.
yeah, I would. I think it's cool, and it excites me that this is getting made.
Absolutely. Dan?
It's the fucking Dorian Gray thing all over again. I think I view it as change just for the sake of change. I mean, obviously it's an adaptation, and the director can take any creative changes they want with it, but like I don't see the fucking point to it. Like, why don't you just like make it?
Yeah.
You know? Like again, like it's the Dorian Gray thing all over again. I just don't get why it's a story about boys who are savages and society and all that noise. And I mean, not saying like it can't be females, but I'm just saying like book's been around for a long time. Like why? What's the point? Why change just for the sake of change? That's if you want to really go in depth about why I don't like it, then listen to last week's podcast with my thoughts on the Dorian Gray adaptation. But I'm not gonna say any more about it. I just don't like when like original material gets like changed for unnecessary reasons.
Well, for those that are listening that haven't ever read Lord of the Flies, basically, it just has a lot to say about human nature, and all these boys are trapped on an island. Obviously, things go wrong because it's just saying how people are inherently messed up like that. And I think if we swap genders, you can still make the same story. It is just kind of weird that they made the change. Like, the book has this solid foundation of what everyone is, so like rewriting that, it's just another hurdle to go over. But it could still be executed good, and maybe they'll have a twist on it. Since they're twisting the gender here, there could be something different about the story that we haven't seen in the other film adaptation or the book.
Well, I think it could have kind of something to say about like gender roles and how because it kind of gets, when they're on the island, it gets back to like kind of primitive civilization when that's kind of the roots they go back to. Watch it just
work on the island instead of everyone killing each other like in the book. When it's all females, they'll like build huts.
No, chicks are worse than us, man. Like chicks couldn't like two chicks like would they could be in the same room and like one takes like one more sugar packet for their coffee, and then the other chick like thinks she's a giant bitch because she took one extra sugar packet. Like, I feel like chicks overreact about shit like that, so I think it'd be worse. In the least misogynistic way as possible.
Well, I look forward to this movie.
Yeah, I'm indifferent.
It's a good book. It's worth reading for anyone that hasn't. But that's all I got on this. Ready for the next story, guys?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I believe we talked about it last week, that Martin Scorsese's involved with Warner Brothers making a Joker movie. That was last week, right?
Yeah.
Well, more news has come out about this, and it's very rumored that Martin Scorsese is heavily pursuing Leonardo DiCaprio for the Joker movie, and this is according to the Hollywood Reporter. Now, I didn't read this article because I didn't put this into our story list here. Did it say that he wants Leonardo DiCaprio for the Joker?
Yeah.
They're recasting it instead of Jared Leto.
Why would they cast anybody else? Well, yeah, no, they're recasting Jared Leto because it's a standalone movie. Pretty sure
it's outside of this Batman versus Superverse,
like the Batman movie will be. That's a whole nother thing.
It's a big fucking mess.
Yeah,
they are pursuing DiCaprio.
Well, Jesus, that's really awesome casting. I'm excited to see him do something different. I mean,
he's definitely
he always does.
He's definitely not
He's
going to
definitely not going to do it. This guy's been avoiding superhero films like his whole career. Like, ever since he like wasn't cast as Anakin Skywalker, like he's taken a more like, I'm just going to be very picky about my roles and only show up in a movie once every 2 years and like get nominated for an Oscar. Like, that's what his career's been after like Titanic, and he was like, imagine if he was Anakin Skywalker instead of Hayden Christensen.
Well, that's what
how
they
crazy
wanted
that would
to do,
be.
right?
Yeah, but scheduling conflicts didn't allow it. But then that would have been the ultimate. Like, we would have found out if Hayden Christensen fell victim to bad writing, or he's just bad. We would have known if it was Leo cast instead.
That's a story for another day.
Well, it's not a story. It doesn't exist. It
discussion.
It didn't happen.
I will say that I would love to see this.
Yeah.
I think this would be really cool too if they went like an R-rated route as well and just took the cuffs off, and with Scorsese producing and the guy from The Hangover, they said is directing it, right?
Oh, what's his name?
Todd Phillips.
That's right.
But if this happened, I would be so in for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because I think like they would convince Leo to do it, so I would have faith in it then. And Christopher Nolan wanted him at one point to play the Riddler in his Dark Knight movies. So maybe this is like his redemption of being able to do it. I think he could give a performance like Ledger and Nicholson if it was really like that good of a script and they let him really just explore the character in depth. And
because they got to
once you get names like Scorsese and DiCaprio involved, how do you not get excited for a Joker movie that would involve those guys?
Yeah, this
If probably won't happen.
Yeah, probably won't happen. If this goes through, then it would be. I really hope Leo's like taking it into high consideration, because all we know is that Warner Brothers and Scorsese are just going after him. We haven't heard if he's even talking back to him. So if it does happen, holy shit! Like, Leo, top 5 actor of all time. I mean, and it's arguable. You throw in Paul Newman, you throw in Tom Hanks, Nicholson,
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, like, and Leo, like he's in that conversation. Like, this guy, and having him play the Joker would be awesome. So, I mean, I hope it happens. Probably won't happen, but let's just keep our eyes on this story going forward.
Yeah. Dan?
Well, I got the next one. So, if you're living under a rock, then you wouldn't know that it's Harry Potter weekend again. As Friday was September 1st, which in the novels are, of course, the day everybody goes back to Hogwarts. But this was a more special one because our September 1st, 2017, is 19 years later. So the final epilogue chapter of the Deathly Hallows book is called 19 Years Later, when Harry's kids go off to Hogwarts and stuff. So the other day was 19 years later. So this day had Harry Potter significance, right? But then literally a couple weeks ago, it was like Harry's birthday and J.K. Rowling's birthday. And
Is her birthday the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that had Harry Potter significance. And then, like, it was 10 years of Deathly Hallows, like a week before that.
So
within the last like 2 months, we've had like 3 or 4 Harry Potter weekends on ABC Family or Freeform, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. You guys know me. This is a series I cherish. It's a series I grew up with. It's a series that has like molded my life into what it is. But these Harry Potter weekends and watching the films over again, I don't have a problem with. I love the films. I could watch them every weekend if I wanted to. But these things used to be a special thing. I mean, I feel like Freeform has like conformed to like the Twitter society, where the crazy fucking Potterheads like want to see these movies every weekend and like know the significance of every Harry Potter like special date, so they're going to show like the movies. There needs to be a huge break in between this Harry Potter weekend and the next one. Like, I just think that it's more special when they only happen like 2 or 3 times a year rather than 2 or 3 times a fucking month. Like, I don't want to sound like a negative guy here, but like they're great movies and I love them and I could watch them over and over again. But like, my weekend every weekend's got to turn into me watching Harry Potter.
I have a solution. Just don't turn it on.
Well, it's hard when fucking college football wasn't working on the TV yesterday, and the only thing that was working was Freeform. I'm not gonna not turn it on because it's the only channel that wasn't getting signal loss because so many people are trying to watch it.
Well, I got something to say about Freeform. Freeform, formerly known as ABC Family, is a poisonous channel. I hate it. It's hard to watch any movie on there because they cut to commercials so many times. And I had never enjoyed a Harry Potter weekend. I hate them because it's just, and I've talked about it so many times on the show, that watching a movie on TV, it blows. It always sucks. There's always commercials in the way. And like anything that happens significantly in the movie, they'll just cut immediately after it. And so I never turn them on and I never care about them. But there's people like you, the Potterheads, who will come and like always watch them because you gotta, right?
Yeah. Because it's special to go back to Hogwarts now that there's like other than the fucking play, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's dumb. But like, you know, it's special to go back to Hogwarts now that Harry's like over, and the 7 books are out, the 8 movies are out. Like, it's special to see it happening. It's cool to see like a Harry Potter event.
Yeah.
But that's what the Potter weekends were for. They were an event. Like, it was cool to see like, oh, a Harry Potter weekend's coming up. But now it's like they happen all the fucking time.
Well, here's what I'm going to pitch to you, is that you're feeding the fire on that, right? You're giving in and watching the Harry Potter weekend. So what you can do is not watch them on Freeform in a much better experience. You own.
Well, I'm not going to. Well, I mean, if I hear next month if they do a Harry Potter weekend around Halloween, which they probably will do, I'm not going to watch it.
Just listen to me here, because you've got all the DVDs. You got the Blu-rays.
I do.
You can put those on.
Edition Blu-rays.
You can put those on. You have no commercial interruption. They're not sped up for time either for commercials, and you get to enjoy it. You could pause it whenever you want, and you could have your own Harry Potter weekend, and it's not saturated. You could do the 2 or 3 times a year if you just didn't do it. It's easy. That's my pitch. And obviously do what you want, but like that's problem solved. Mm-hmm. You don't have to deal with that shitty Freeform channel anymore.
And I'd join you on those rewatches.
I'm picking up on what you're putting down. It's not like I'm against watching my DVDs. I paid money to buy those.
Yeah, I mean, then why not use them? That's what I'm saying.
Because, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Harry Potter weekends happen so much that I see the movies on Freeform. I'll sit there and watch them because they're so fucking addicting. And then I'll just be like, when I'm thinking, like, oh, I've got the Harry Potter DVDs, I'll say, I just fucking saw a Harry Potter weekend. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's a fucking trap. Like, you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, as Mike said, you're creating the problem.
No, I know.
Yeah. I would just not give in. Because I'd watch Harry Potter with you on a weekend if we were just doing DVDs.
Yeah.
But I don't want to watch on Freeform. Are you kidding me?
We got to do a Batman weekend.
That'd be fun, too.
I've got those.
Yeah. But
we could do a Star Wars weekend, too.
Why not?
You could do a weekend with a lot of movies. Yeah. But
dude,
ultimately,
I haven't seen Indiana Jones in a long time. We should do an Indiana Jones weekend.
That'd be fun too. But I just don't think people should just be watching these if they hate them. But that's me.
Who hates Harry Potter?
No, the weekend, because it's shitty.
I don't hate the weekend. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, there's people like me.
Happen too often.
Yeah. But they're not going to stop. You know, it's getting views. Suckers like us will watch them. Yeah. But that's all I got on that. Mike?
Okay. So, Ed Skrein, who played the villain Ajax in Deadpool, was cast in the Hellboy reboot starring David Harbour last week. Well, this week, he dropped out because people called it whitewashing because the character in the comics is Japanese American that he was supposed to play. So now, Ed Skrein will not be in the movie. And maybe the story's not as much about Ed Skrein dropping out because that's not really news, but it's about this kind of topic of whitewashing, and it's taking a big hold. You know, another memorable one was Tilda Swinton in Doctor Strange. Yeah. They casted her, and the character was supposed to be like Chinese, right, or something.
Yeah. Now it's some sort of Asian.
Tibetan.
Now, yeah, that's probably it. Now, quick question. Ed Skrein, that's Francis in Deadpool, right? For those that don't know.
Ajax, yeah. Francis.
Ajax, okay. I was just making sure, because I didn't know this guy until I read the story. I've never heard his name before. Obviously, he was in Deadpool, but not a lot of people know him. Well, whitewashing has always kind of been a problem, and it's been that. It's been black Oscars. It's things like that. People have problems with characters that are in one medium, they're one race, and then getting changed into another. And I think it's more up to the creators and people who cast to what the race is going to be. I don't know that it's like disparaging another race by having one person play something. A lot of people had problems with Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell, who a character who is Japanese instead is now a white American female. But it's not entirely up to the audience who's in the movie. Obviously, it's the casting director. And someone who's going to deliver a better performance, or someone who writes a movie with a white character, that's just how it is, you know? I mean, what do you guys have on this? Obviously, there's other viewpoints on it.
Well, it has its positives and negatives. One, this Oscar's so white. It's not true for so many reasons, but there is a diversity problem in Hollywood. There should be roles that are kind of written more for. It shouldn't just be white. I think it should be kind of roles that are tailored for anybody. And it's a very controversial topic, and I don't really know which way to lean on it. But I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating because it keeps coming up, and sometimes it takes hold and sometimes it doesn't. And it seems to be taking hold major with the Japanese Americans and in a lot of things, like you said, Ghost in a Shell, and this isn't Japanese Americans, but Ridley Scott's Exodus a couple years ago, starring Joel Edgerton, Christian Bale, Ben Kingsley, and Aaron Paul in Egypt. Doesn't make any sense. They're all white. So like when it's that blatant, I think it's a problem. But if it's a character like this, I really don't know how it was written. So, I kind of think it all depends. We don't have the inside on it, so I see both sides to it.
Sure.
But in most cases, I would definitely say that, like, if the character is Japanese American in the comics, then you cast someone who's Japanese American. Yeah, someone who comes to mind always when I think of a guy who I think should have a better career, but he doesn't, is his name's Byung-Hun Lee, and he was in The Magnificent Seven. He was the Asian guy in that movie, and he was also in the shitty G.I. Joe movies, but he's really good in that, and he was in Red. Like, he could be a breakout action star, and there's just not a lot of roles written for him. So, like I said, it has its positives and negatives.
It's very nuanced. But Dan, what do you think?
Well, I'm a little upset that that Screen doesn't that he had to lose work because he didn't kind of want to deal with the backlash of the fans. But that's a guy who cares about the fans' opinions, obviously, which is pretty cool. When people join in comic book movies and they really care about what the fans think is awesome. But yeah, we got a problem with casting. I mean, Mike hit the nail on the head. If you've got a Japanese character in the comics, then you cast a Japanese guy. You just got to. And I mean, a lot of these comic book characters were created a long time ago. Some of them have been around for a long time in a different time in America where, I mean, it's just guys were white. People were white. And, that's how the original comic book characters were written. So, I mean, some comic books like Spider-Man, they made Miles Morales where Spider-Man was a black guy, which I think is cool. And times are changing. With the Iron Man, now there's an Iron Man storyline where a girl named Riri Williams, who's black, goes to MIT, gets funded by Tony Stark, and she creates her own Iron Man suit, and now she's Iron Woman or Iron Man.
Ironheart.
And, that's really cool. So it's good to see that they're adapting and they're changing. Heroes aren't just white anymore, which is really cool. But you gotta stay within the confines of what the fans want, as well as what the character's supposed to be. And if the guy's supposed to be a Japanese guy, then make him Japanese.
Yeah.
And Tilda Swinton, she was great in Doctor Strange. Like I said, I praised that film a couple weeks ago when I said I watched it again. And Tilda Swinton's a great actress. But the character's supposed to be Tibetan. get Tibetan, you know.
You guys actually kind of changed my view on this a
Yeah.
little bit. Like I was all more for it's just like if they're decided that, or if like the screenwriter wrote the character in this way, then that's just how it is. But that's like I kind of even thought of that in a different way, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, the problem is if the screenplay is being written by a white guy, he's gonna write it through the culture of white people, and you don't get that enough because, you know, for example, like say they changed Luke Cage to just a white guy, like you wouldn't get a series about Harlem where it feels like it's its own world.
Yeah.
And I feel like when they whitewash, you're missing out on a lot of culture that can be explored and can end up being really fucking cool.
Absolutely.
And instead it keeps getting told from like kind of like a white society perspective just to be for the general audience. But I like when they take a chance and are willing to explore different places that I might not know something about.
Well, one of the best things that have happened for comic book films is Samuel L. Jackson being Nick Fury. Like, I almost like don't like every other Nick Fury before Samuel L. Jackson because goddamn, like he's just Nick Fury.
Well, were
Like,
there
Samuel L.
others in
Jack-
movies?
Not in movies, no, but up
There
until
was
that
one
point.
with David Hasselhoff.
Oh,
Right.
really?
He was Nick Fury in this shitty movie, but that doesn't count.
You're talking more like comics and games.
But in
probably.
comics and games, Nick
Yeah, okay.
Fury is a white guy.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, now I only want to see Nick Fury as like Sam Jackson or a black guy. You know, like I just think he's great for the role and everything like that. So, you know, I mean, in that case, he got an all-time great in Sam Jackson picking it up. And then, you know, in the this isn't a comic book film, but Shawshank Redemption, in the book, Red is a white guy, but then Morgan Freeman, another great actor, he plays Red, and I mean, he just did a great job. He, you know, he got nominated for an Oscar. So, I mean, they just got to go with best actor in situations. But if you need to rewrite the role to have a different, you know, storyline for the character and make it unique, that's on a screenwriter, that's on the acting director and the caster. Like they need to you know, if they got to do things, they got to do things. But, you know, again, I stand by my point from before. You gotta stay true a little bit, and if you're gonna change it, have a reason why.
Well, then I've got a quick question. I want to harken back to one of the earlier news stories.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about faithfulness to the original medium of the story. Now, if you're saying Samuel Jackson did a great job,
Yeah.
and you almost prefer that to them. So if this Lord of the Flies movie is great with females, then do you have a problem with it? You were saying they're just changing it to change it.
I'm not shooting it down.
Okay.
Like I'm not like boycotting the movie because it's chicks. Like I just think like a book that everybody reads in class that hasn't had a modern adaptation. Like I just don't think like a change like this kind of like is appropriate. The same like with Dorian Gray. Like there hasn't been a Dorian Gray adaptation in a long time, and like when something gets modern adaptation, I think they should be true to it. You know what I mean?
Like it harkens back to him saying if the role's like this guy, if the role's written for a Japanese American, you cast a Japanese American.
Sure.
And I think his perspective, even though I said something different earlier, his perspective is if the book's about a group of white kids, it's about a group of white kids.
Oh, I'm
Actually,
just-
maybe they don't specify race. It could be a group of black kids.
I'm just
for all we
saying Samuel Jackson knocked it out of the park as Nick Fury. Nick Fury is white in the comics for decades and
Right.
still is.
Yeah, but Nick Fury's also a man.
Sure, but it's a race. I mean, we could make sex and race different here, but I'm just saying, like, if they do a great job, who cares?
Yeah,
You know?
totally fair.
Yeah,
At the end of
and,
the day-
and like I said, like I'm not shooting down the Lord of the Flies. I'm not shooting down the Dorian Gray thing, but I'm saying in like you're adapting classic books. Stay true to what the
Okay.
story is.
I agree.
I mean, if like you know, like they're men. With in Dorian Gray, he's a man, and Lord of the Flies, they're a group of boys, and then just do that.
So would you guys say then, so long as the movie doesn't suffer consequence of the change, it's better that way? So like,
Yeah, so like here's the thing. Ed Skrein dropped out of this movie. A part of me is upset because it's like, you know, he's supposed to be a Japanese American, which, you know, they screwed up to begin with. Like, they should have casted the Japanese American, but I would have liked to see how they wrote it with him, and I would have liked to see how he's done, because now he loses work, and you know, he could have been another great performance in a comic book film like he was in Deadpool, but now we're not going to see it because we won't know.
Little trivia: do you know who played the first Dario in Game of Thrones? The one who was Daenerys's like handler. She slept with him, and she left him at I think Marine to Rule. Ed Skrein played the original. They recasted him the next season because he went on and he didn't have time to do Game of Thrones.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
It's kind of cool. I didn't know that either until I saw him one time. I was looking through his filmography and it said like Game of Thrones. I'm like, oh, wait, that's right. They did recast the guy. So it's kind of cool.
If that's all we have, that might be a good segue here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even do that intentionally.
Yeah. Well,
we got all our points out, right?
Yeah. We saw a finale last Sunday. We saw the season 7 finale for Game of Thrones. It was amazing. It was an hour and a half. I had to leave in the middle of it because I was late to a work meeting. So then I watched it right after the meeting. It was awesome. So I caught a bit of it with you guys. But Mike, you got some great questions here about this. What do you? Why don't you do
All right,
this?
well, we'll start with the first topic. What was your guys' favorite thing about this season, or maybe something that surprised you that you weren't expecting?
First off, let's say, if you're an asshole and haven't watched it yet, don't fucking criticize us for talking about it. This is a spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it yet, don't listen to this conversation. 3, 2, 1. My favorite thing this season was like the Avengers team up. I loved seeing characters who we haven't seen before meet. Like John and Daenerys is obviously the big one. And then in the finale, I loved seeing every main character that's left meet in one place, and they're for the common goal and everything like that. Though they're not Daenerys. Cersei is not. She's just a bitch. So I love that. I love the team up. I thought it was very well written. I thought they did a really good job of getting these characters finally together in one place. And that was my favorite part of the season. I love seeing characters that haven't been on the screen before together. It was really cool and really well done. And what surprised me? Nobody big really died.
Well, Littlefinger, he's the only series regular from the beginning.
So Baelish died. Okay, he's the big death. But like, what I was kind of expecting out of this season was like Cersei goes, or Jaime goes, or you know, Jon goes, or you know, I was expecting one of that to happen. But then when in the episode where Daenerys and her dragons are fighting against the Lannister armies, and Jaime like gets saved by Bronn out of the dragon fire. Once he didn't die there, I was just like, they're not gonna kill a main character, like a really main character, other than Baelish. Like I thought at that point, like, everybody's gonna be fine after this season. But you know, it leaves a window open for season 8. I don't know what's gonna happen.
That was my favorite episode of the season too, and it was midway through. Yeah. Not saying anything about the last half, but before I talk, Ryan, I'll kick it to you. What was your maybe your favorite thing, or something small that surprised you?
Small.
Anything that surprised you.
There were plenty of surprises. Nothing really comes up to mind right now, though. But my favorite thing about this season is that we're finally here. We've had 7 seasons of them talking about like what's coming, what's going to happen, what needs to happen beforehand. And we finally got it. The wall's down. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs to come together. And we've got a full, amazing season coming next year. Where
2018 or 2019. They haven't specified. Those cunts.
Oh, God. Well.
to quote the Hound.
Yeah, that was just quote. Yeah, it's gonna be great to see everything coming together. That's really my favorite thing about this, is that we're here. You know, it took us a long time.
We made it.
But that's all I got. What about you?
I love the pacing of this season. I know it wasn't for everybody, but I love that, you know, someone had to help Jorah. Sam helped Jorah. Someone had to find Dragonglass. Sam found Dragonglass. Jon and Daenerys had to meet. It happened, and then just the next episode they're beyond the wall. They weren't wasting time, and some people didn't love it. I personally did, because it was the great thing about Game of Thrones is they've specified this whole time that you don't know like the timeline exactly. It's all happening at once, so it kind of works in favor of the show, and I really like that. It's like we had a couple episodes where it was just battle after battle. Like the first one we got was with Euron invading the Greyjoys, and that was great. And then after that we got the one where Daenerys comes with the Dothraki and fights Bronn and Jaime, and then they go beyond the wall, and then there was just a lot of, it was very fast paced, very action packed, and it like Dan said, it kind of felt like a superhero show at times with seeing everyone team up, which is really cool. What surprised me is how they were able to further develop known characters. Not as much Jon, but I really liked what you saw from Cersei this season. There's a couple times you see her crack and like really like show like sides of compassion. Like she talks about how she misses her kids when she's talking to Illyria Sand, and she's like, "Why'd you kill my kids?" Like you see her cracking a little bit, and then of course when she sees the White, she's fucking terrified, and then she makes another move at the end that's like, oh, this is Cersei's not changing at all. She's the same, but there's small things that developed her character, and that's what I really enjoyed, is they were able to further develop known characters. Like even Bronn, side character, gets development this season. He saves Jaime's ass again, showing he's not just a sellsword. So yeah, my biggest surprise is that they were able to still do characterization even though they're not really introducing any more big players. So I would say that. So to segue into the next point, was there anything that maybe disappointed you this season or you wanted to see that you didn't get?
I fucking don't care about the Greyjoys at all. I don't fucking like them. Like, I understand, like, they're one of the big families, and Theon and Euron, the fucking Dyke sister, like, they got way more screen time than need be. Like, I understand they got made allies and everything like that, like Euron with the bad guys and Theon and the Dyke, like, with the good guys. I wouldn't give a shit if we never saw them again. Like, I don't care whatsoever if I saw them again. That scene with Theon in the finale where he's talking to Jon for 5 minutes and then he goes and beats up that one guy, like, that was stupid. Like, I didn't like that. I thought it wasted 10 minutes of the finale that was already an hour and a half, but, like, it put, like, that part of the finale was my least favorite part. And Theon's had so many moments to, like, be like a good guy, and he's not. He's still a bitch. And then, like, talking to Jon Snow, because Jon Snow, like, stood up at the meeting, like, that inspired you. He's a fucking pussy. Like, I don't want to see.
He's not really redeemable at this point.
Like,
I would agree.
Yeah. So we've gotten through 7 seasons. And it takes the last, like, in the final half hour of the 7th season finale for this guy to have his moment. So I've already, like, written him off. I fucking don't like Theon. And I don't like the Greyjoys. I don't care about their storyline. And the episode where Euron, like, attacks the fucking Armada, like, that was cool.
I like Euron. I will say that.
But, like, I just don't care if we never see them again.
I got you.
Other than that, I'm not disappointed at all with anything else. I thought this season, for being 7 episodes, was pretty well written, and everything came together and everything like that, and all the remaining players are on the battlefield now. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know when season 8's coming out, so I've got a lot of waiting to do before that happens. But here's some hope. Kingdom Hearts 3 could be out before the last season
There
of
you
Game
go.
of Thrones. Could you, like, oh my God, look at that. I might
Good
have
for
to
you.
wait longer for Game of Thrones Season 8 than I would for Kingdom Hearts 3. That's, like, thinking about that, waiting longer for something that's not Kingdom Hearts it's
Yeah, my view on that is I'm excited Westworld will be out before that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm waiting
Now,
for.
now Westworld, I said it before, I'll say it again. Westworld is the new Game of Thrones once that's over.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
And Ryan, was there anything that retracted for you this season?
I almost feel guilty with these questions, Mike, because when I've been watching Game of Thrones since before season 2 premiered, and I have never really thought critically about the show ever. And when I say critical thinking, I mean I don't really think
I get what you're saying.
about how you've noticed these things with characterization. I just kind of sit there and just let the TV blast me with everything that happens for an hour
And if
every
you stay
week.
interested, you stay
Yeah,
interested.
I still love the show, but it's so unpredictable and there's so many moving parts and names that I don't know because I never remember the names, that I just kind of take it in. So I had no requirements for this season, and I was happy with it. I didn't like seek any more out of it, and there isn't anything that we didn't see that I needed. So perfectly happy with it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The only thing that I will say that I guess will be something that it may be a negative, but maybe not, because I still thought it was handled really fucking cool. Is you think enough about a show, you can predict a lot, and a lot of the big events I saw coming, even though they were handled really fucking well, like the wall coming down. Everyone's known that was going to happen, but the moment it happened was awesome. I saw Littlefinger dying, but when that happened, it was awesome. It was handled really well. So a lot of those events that happen are, yes, kind of everyone saw them coming, but they were really cool. So if I'm going to get nitpicky, it's maybe that. Dan has a problem with Greyjoys. I'm fine with that storyline. I don't like, since they got him back to Winterfell, they've kind of just like written off Bran Stark. I think his character's
I wanted to
kind
talk
of,
about that too, because now for an
He's
entire
just
an entire season and a half, he's known who Jon was, and like Jon just so happens to be gone when he finally gets back, and we're still holding out the storyline. I mean, like, we officially got like his Targaryen name and everything like that, but Jon still doesn't know. Yet all his living siblings are back at Winterfell, and like he's not there, and then Sam comes back, and like now he knows, and now he's like not there. I feel like if I were to change one thing, like I wish Jon finally made it back to Winterfell to see them, but I guess that's going to be a bigger reunion in season 8. I guess I'm a little upset about it, but that's a nitpick of mine.
To me, he does a lot of cool shit, but to me, he's like so much less interesting than Arya and Sansa. And I think they're just so much. I just think they're much better characters.
There's a lot more depth, but since Bran's become the three-eyed raven, like he just feels everybody's pain and he knows everything. So like he's just changed because he's like, I feel like he's depressed because he can feel everything. So that's his character's changed. That's who he is now. And he said that like I don't remember what the line was, but somebody like referred to him as Bran or called him different, and he said, "Well, I'm the three-eyed raven now."
This is how the character's been handled. They took a break from his storyline. From season 4 to 6. So he was gone. And then when he came back to Winterfell, and that, now I know her name, like Marine or whatever, Mara Reed, whatever the fuck her name was. I still don't remember. When she's like, "Oh, so that's it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, get off the screen. I don't care. Hodor was better than you.
Yeah.
You should have died. You know, that's just kind of how I felt about most of the characters in his storyline. And that's maybe because I never found him that compelling, even though he services the plot. So again, if I'm going to get nitpicky, it's maybe with him, but I digress. So we'll close out this discussion with any theorizing that you guys want to do for the final season. Who's maybe going to die? Who's going to be on the... We'll just do this. Who do you think's going to end up on the Iron Throne?
Aegon Targaryen.
John?
It's his rightful throne. But you know what? That'd be too perfect. Like they said, oh, Aegon Targaryen, it's his rightful throne, but that's not Jon.
Mm-hmm.
That's not him. So I just don't think that that it's him. So who ends up? Maybe Tyrion. Maybe Tyrion ends up on the Iron Throne, because I think like Daenerys may die. I think Cersei and Jaime, I think, are going to die. Like, of the big five, so Jon, Dany, Tyrion, Cersei, and Jaime. I think Cersei and Jaime have the highest like percentage of dying, and I'd love to see that bitch die. But I think of Jon, Tyrion, and Daenerys. Like Daenerys, I think will die out of those three. But I don't see Jon like wanting the Iron Throne. Like I feel like he's gonna find out his past or whatever, and he's gonna realize that he is a Targaryen and that he slept with his cousin. But like, I think Tyrion might end up on there, and that's a pretty hot take right there. But you know, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't predict. Mm-hmm. But if something's telling me that Tyrion might end up on the Iron Throne.
He'd be perfect for it too. He's been advising so many people, in the right ways. Do you think he'd want it?
I think he'd want it more than Jon would. He doesn't want it more than Daenerys wants it, obviously. But I can see her dying, like big time. Yeah.
Well, Tyrion has had so much experience with it. I feel like if he was offered, he might just back away, or just simply be an advisor.
Totally possible.
Yeah.
Or like maybe Daenerys dies and like Tyrion gets elected, because he's talking to Daenerys about like who's going to be your next person.
Yeah. Like a democracy.
And if she doesn't have a kid, if she doesn't have like Jon's kid now, then maybe she like chooses him as the rightful ruler or whatever.
Yeah. There's definitely going to be major deaths, but something I was thinking about, and something that I've always wanted a little more of, and correct me if I'm wrong, on the planet the Game of Thrones takes place on, we've got Westeros as a continent, we've got Essos as a continent. Am I correct in saying that? Mm-hmm. What's going on over there? I want to see more of Essos. I know that might not.
That could be an entire series in itself.
Yeah, so I think that with the spin-off shows that might be happening, they're just going to leave Essos alone.
Well, the ones with Essos that they talk about, isn't Bravos part of it?
I think.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Bravos and then Marine. So they kind of have, and then there was another place they're at earlier in the show called like Karth or something, I think.
I don't know.
But they've explored places in it. They just haven't really gotten into the politics of it.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, because Daenerys and the Dothraki with the Unsullied, I think they just conquered most of it.
Sure.
I think that's kind of what happened.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the rest of the world has to be hearing about what's going to happen this next season. I just want to see if we get some mention or involvement from these foreign countries. I just want to see what's happening. It's very interesting.
That's where Euron's going.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to get an army of mercenaries from
so that could be a cool arc.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm really looking forward to it.
So the theory I keep coming back to is I think possibly all the major players might bite the dust. I don't know, again, if Jon would want the throne. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I don't see Jon and Daenerys making it out. I think Sansa Stark is going to either end up being Warden of the North or the one left sitting on the Iron Throne, because she's kind of proven that she can be a leader. And I honestly think she likes leading more than Jon does. Jon was chosen to lead. I think Sansa is kind of like, they're kind of different. Jon's more of a leader by example. Sansa, I think, like enjoys to rule and enjoys to help people. She's always kind of been a good-natured person. So I could definitely see her being like the one that's left and the one that people eventually realize they're like, yeah, the Starks live on. Maybe it's her on the Iron Throne at the end. So I think it's totally possible that Sansa ends up there. And I think Tyrion will survive. And I think that Cersei for sure will die. I think Daenerys will die. And Jon's a maybe. Jaime's going to die too. So that's my big theories. I think it's totally possible that we see Sansa on the Iron Throne at the end, especially with Baelish gone now.
hot take: Tormund Giantsbane.
Oh, and I want
on
Braun
the
to get his
Iron
his castle.
Yeah,
He's gonna die though.
but Tormund like had to have made it out, but we don't know what happened to Tormund after the fucking ice dragon came in and destroyed the wall.
No, he's alive.
Yeah,
He's alive.
they're not gonna kill him like that, like off screen. You know?
No, I thought he was gonna die and be on the wall though when he was getting dragged.
That
into
was
that hole.
scary.
Yeah.
That was scary. Like there was like a minute scene of no music and he was just screaming until the Hound came in and like saved him. So that was pretty scary. But then again, this season we've had a few teases like they're not gonna like save a character at one point in time to just like lamely kill him off screen like Jamie. Like imagine if he drowned after being saved by Dragonfire. Like that would have been so lame. So I think it could be the same thing with Tormund, though Tormund's not one of the big five. So
No.
you know,
He's just the main wildling.
It'd be a little different, but he's earned the right to die on screen.
Yeah.
So
Didn't you have something?
what?
Topic.
Oh, is that how
now-
we're transitioning?
Now, Dan has a topic for us, but we have not heard it. Me and Mike don't know what this is. So you were bringing it to us fresh, Dan.
Okay.
What is the topic?
So this could be looked as like me being a shitty person, but I don't know. You two can judge me off of that. All right. So I want to question the tip. Okay, like giving
What tip are we talking about?
Giving
here?
someone a tip?
giving somebody a tip, but when it's deserved. Okay, so I was at a sandwich place the other day, and a lot of sandwich places are similar. Potbellies, Jimmy John's, all that stuff. When you go into the store and you're not having the sandwich delivered to you, you go to the store, you order your sandwich. At the end of the line, like there's a tip bucket, or if you pay with your card, there's a tip line on your receipt. Like, is that a situation? And I have more of these theories. I want to just have this discussion about tipping in different situations. But like, you go into the sandwich shop for lunch, like, and you're paying with your card. Like, I'm not tipping if I'm in the store.
You talking about Pickleman's?
Yeah.
I don't tip when I go to Pickleman's
Yeah, like, when
because
you go
it's
there, like,
different.
yeah.
They're not serving you. They just
Exactly.
They make a sandwich. Now, if I pay with cash and I have extra change, I throw it into the tip jar every single time.
Yeah, sure.
But if
like,
I pay with
is
card,
is it not? Like, you don't write anything on the. But are they expecting it? Is the
I
thing.
don't
Do you
think
think
so.
they are?
No.
Because I feel like sometimes when I just don't write anything on the line, like they get upset. Like,
no, that's just you looking into it. I think it's not. It's not really customary in that line of work. It's in the food industry. It's more customary to obviously tip your waiters and such, and if you're a really good chef, maybe, but definitely drivers too. Like if Pickleman's driver, I'll tip them. I'll tip them every time.
Yeah, no. If you don't tip a delivery driver, you're kind of an asshole. But I do have like a situation. I'll go into the more of the situations. But Ryan, what are you tipping in the sandwich shop?
Okay. Pickleman's being a sort of Jimmy John's-esque shop for those that don't know. No, I'm right with Mike. I only throw in change on those. But if it's a smaller place, like a local kind of sandwich-esque shop, and like the people are nice, I'll throw in $1 every once in a while, like a rare thing. It's not something that I'm required to do, and I totally agree that like that's not a place that they need it, or it's not socially unacceptable to not tip it when you're getting your sandwich. I think it really is. They just throw it out to get the extra change, maybe. You know, it's so easy because no one wants to walk around with change. That I think that's really what it is.
Yeah.
I do tip street vendors like hot dog stands.
That's good.
I tip those guys. I tip as much as I can.
Other than quarters, like, and that's the other thing. Like, I feel a bit shitty, like just throwing like on a couple of dimes and nickels in a little bucket because I want to keep the quarters because quarters come in handy. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, you know, like there almost shouldn't be a tip spot on the receipt when you're buying in the store.
Well, also if you deserve the tip, it's kind of warranted too. Like when I was at Hy-Vee, Schnucks, a grocery store the other day, and my dad was there with us, and when the lady who was like giving me my deli meat, super cordial. I didn't have money on me, but I felt the need to like tip her. If someone's like that involved in their job, you will get tips more often than someone who doesn't, because if like the service industry, you should know what you're getting into, and you should want to work for those
Yeah.
tips, and
Yeah.
you should want a brown nose and kiss ass. And a lot of people just show up to work and essentially just zone out and won't even, converse with you. Like our Uber driver yesterday, fuck that guy.
You want to know what they've done on Uber though? They've added the option to like tip them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they make like a good percentage of what you're paying for the?
That's why if they
trip anyway?
deserve it, you
In a
can
regular
do it more.
in a regular Uber, they make 20% of the drive, and it's pretty good for a lot of them, especially if they're driving in a surge area. But Lyft, the competitor to Uber, always had tips available, and that was a big thing for drivers to get into because of that. But now Uber just added it, which is crazy because that's one of the things the CEO stood by when they first started. He said, "We're not doing tips, no matter what. We pay them good enough." And so it's kind of weird to see him slip into that.
I don't know if
Sometimes they deserve it though. I've tipped a few.
Sometimes they do, and they're great. But like, I mean, I'm already paying for the trip, and like they make out of that. And I know like this might sound shitty of me, but like I don't think I'm ever gonna use that tip feature for the Uber unless they're like the fucking greatest driver of all time, and they've got so much, and they do more than just the water and the mints, like like they fucking, I don't know, like they've got.
Giving the aux is a big move too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here's the thing about the fucking Uber driver last night, to get off topic here. This guy changed songs fucking 12 times in our 5-minute trip.
Yeah.
He changed songs 12 times. He'd get like a minute into a song and change it. Fucking
And
make a
he
pick.
didn't speak. Yeah, speak.
Oh, wow.
He didn't speak.
No, he didn't talk to us at all. He didn't ask us how we were doing. So I didn't. Usually, I'm the guy who goes like, "Oh, has it been busy tonight?" Like, usually I'm that guy. No, I don't want to talk to the guy. No, if he's not, he didn't say anything. Fuck that guy.
Reeling us back in, American tip culture is something that I didn't wish existed. I wish we didn't have tips like this. In a lot of foreign countries, like say Europe, for the most part, they don't have tips like that. The servers just get paid adequate amounts. They get paid a good amount if they're at a fancy restaurant or things like that. I just wish that was the case. You don't tip unless you had amazing service. And I wish that was just how it was, because there's so many people that are in the service industry because that's all they've got and they're living on the tips. And if they just got paid an adequate amount because serving's hard, this would be a lot easier.
Now you're a server, so I'm kind of surprised you don't like.
Yeah.
the tip
I think
culture.
you can, if you're really busy, you can make a lot. I just wish it weren't like that, because there's a lot of people that rely on those tips, and I just wish that was never a thing.
Well, I was a busboy at Buffalo, and you would be amazed how many times just a server every night bitched about what they were getting paid. And knowing
always
them
do.
and working with them, it's like, maybe you shouldn't be a fucking piece of shitty server. You ever
No,
thought
that's
about
the
just
thing,
being a
like-
nice person and and just working your job and not expecting a flat fee, a tip? You're gonna get a good tip if you're a good job, you
Yeah.
dumb fuck. That's why you're working at Buffalo when you're 35 years old.
And I am I consider myself a very generous tipper when it comes to waiters and everything like that. I know the job sucks, but I've changed my ways as of recently. Like, and I know serving's hard, and I know you've got a lot of tables in a busy restaurant. But like, if you're taking too long, like when we were at the bar Thursday night, like the waitress we had, like we'd see her like every fucking like 45 minutes. Like, we ordered from another server, like, and not because like we had to flag down that other server. The other server came to our table, asked us like, "Have you seen your server? Can I get you guys something?" And that was, I was kind of shocked. Like, I was just like, wow, she didn't have to do that, but wow, even another server noticed our server wasn't wasn't coming to our table, and I didn't. I bought us a round of fucking what are they called? Irish car bombs, and I had dinner and everything like that. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't tip well because she was not good.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to with like the way tips are here. I think if a person did shitty, they don't deserve the tip.
No.
That's normal.
Now, if someone does shitty, what's your guys' percentage? I don't go below 12.
Okay. I've never done no tip, but I usually, if they're adequate or better, I'll go over 20.
20 is my standard.
20 I do flat, even
Yeah.
if it was shit.
Okay.
I'll do 18 if I'm not really satisfied, but like I'm not gonna be a dick. But one time I ordered a pizza. It took 2 hours, and I ordered 2 things. I ordered a pizza, and I ordered like
That was from Domino's, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
It took 2 hours, and I tipped $1 on like a $20 order.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I'm sorry that the delivery guy has to suffer because of that, but fuck that. Why did that take 2 hours?
That's ridiculous.
And now here's another question. What is your guys? What's your feeling about like how do you tip at bars?
You mean like with a bartender?
Yeah, like going up for drinks. Like how do you tip?
I throw like a buck or two back.
Every time?
Yeah, you usually. Honestly, it kind of depends on how fucked up I am. If I'm fucked up, I'm gonna throw like a 5 down.
Yeah, like like for example, we were out at a bar last night. I got our round. It was $16 because we got Jack. And I just gave her 20. I was like, keep the change. You know, also because I didn't want to have to deal with change at the moment because we were kind of drunk. But yeah, I'll throw them usually a buck or two. But since I got 3 drinks, I kind of scale it up like that.
I do every odd numbered drink. So the first, the third, the fifth, like
That's a good formula.
because like they don't like here's the thing. Here's the thing you got to remember. Like they're not going to remember me for not tipping on my second drink. Everybody goes up to the bar and everybody tips. So it's not like they're making a bad wage. So I think like I'm shitty if I don't tip them at all. But like I'm not gonna tip them every time.
We could just do smaller tips
Everybody tips every time. So like I just wanted every odd numbered drink.
Well, also, it's not customary to tip as much with a bartender because they're getting tips all night.
Yeah.
They have way more customers than say a bartender. So
And then
the
you'll have
formula is very different.
The creepy guy who's like gives like a $20 tip because he wants to get in the bartender's pants.
There's always those.
The creepy guy, is the bartender a male or female?
A female.
Oh.
It could be the other way around.
Well, it could be the other way around. Sure, but it usually isn't. Say a now in my case, so if your pizza was 2 hours late, what would you have tipped?
It's delivered to me.
Yeah, delivered. So just any delivery service, just think if it was shitty, it took forever.
It's a $20 pizza. I'd probably do like $3.
Still,
Yeah.
even though you waited 2 hours, you could have eaten something between.
The delivery driver's getting fucked because like it's not his fault, but it's still he's doing his job. You know, you don't. Did you know if it was the kitchen or the delivery driver? Because that's a big difference.
It was definitely the kitchen.
It was definitely the kitchen,
Okay.
but like the Domino's tracker said it was out for delivery for like an hour.
Then maybe it was
Because
So-
usually, though, they have a set of, like, in order where they have to go. So it's totally possible he had to go just across town
Yeah,
for all
that
this
could have
fucking
happened.
orders.
But like,
That's not his fault.
imagine no, and I wasn't blaming the delivery driver at all. But like, definitely something happened in the kitchen, and they were going along with the Domino's fucking tracker thing, and they took forever, and the tracker was like lying to me, is what I think happened. But imagine if Domino's still did the half an hour under is free.
That's gone.
That's been gone for a long
I
time
didn't know that.
because people kept fucking up and they had
Yeah.
to give away free pizzas. Like, you know, human error. But one of the most important lessons I think I've ever learned in life is if you're out in traffic and you see the pizza guy, he cuts in front of you. Don't get mad at the pizza guy. Like the pizza guy is doing his job. I think the only person in traffic I will never get mad at is the pizza guy.
Well, people need pizza. You can't get mad at that.
No, the
No.
pizza guy's going to bring culture around, man. Like but the pizza is a symbol of togetherness and friendship.
As an advocate of road rage, if anybody cuts me off, I'm upset.
No, but the pizza guy's trying to do his job. He's trying to get there quick. He's trying to get his pizza. Like,
I'm trying to get to my place, too.
yeah, but you're not in a hurry.
Yeah, but
You're
I'm
not
an
in a hurry.
asshole. There's a big
No,
difference
I
here.
know, but the pizza guy, like the pizza guy, like you can't. I will never take my anger out on a pizza guy or a food delivery guy because
With
like,
ice balls?
huh? That's a story for my dad, but like this guy's in a hurry, obviously. Like he doesn't want like his tip, because here's the thing: if he's late, his tip suffers, his job suffers.
Yeah.
So he's the only guy I will ever allow to like be in a fucking rush on the road. Everybody else, like if you're in a rush, you should have left early.
I mean, forget about these ambulances here. We got to get the pizza through.
That's what I'm saying.
That's number one.
Yeah, fuck. Because that guy, you know, they're not ordering pizza.
Oh my God.
They don't need pizza.
Well, okay, let me ask you guys this then. As I mentioned earlier, they have different tip cultures around the world. Would you want the one where there's no tips unless it's amazing, but the servers get paid an adequate amount?
Yes, because it's less money out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually it's people who are career servers because they're great at it.
And
See,
yeah,
but
exactly.
They're not a bunch of tip monkeys
Here's the thing,
like me.
like I've grown up and I've said I'm a generous tipper, but I kind of hate that I have to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you have to now, and like I don't like that, because if you're doing a shitty job, you don't deserve it, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a shitty job, you don't deserve it, and I hate that the culture has turned into like you have to tip. Like if they do a shitty job, they don't deserve it, you know. And but you know, it's still a nice thing. But I agree with that. See, but I've never worked in serving, so I have no idea. Like I have never been tipped by anybody because, you know, I'm just doing my job, and you know, I've never expected a tip. So I think if you're working as a server, like Mike might have talked about it. Like if you're expecting a tip, like you're kind of an asshole. Like, and you get mad if like you get tipped like not.
You work
well.
for
No,
your tips.
we
Yeah.
all expect it. You know.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying you're an asshole if you expect it?
You should be
Like,
working for your
you
tips,
should-
though.
Yeah,
You should
like,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
the
you're
thing,
working
like,
hard, but you
have
expect
to, you have
it.
to earn it. Like
Yeah.
you got to be nice. You got to smile. You got to be a good server.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Maybe a happy ending.
yeah. So here's the thing. Like, not every server is a nice one. Like sometimes I have to say, like, if somebody's working in the food industry, like I'd be like, wow, what a nice like waiter, or what a nice like waitress. Like, you know, like the fact that I have to say that, like,
Yeah.
you know, that I've had shitty ones, but I still tip them, which I, you know, maybe I changed my tip policy.
Do you remember in Reservoir Dogs when Mr. Blue's like, well, it's good. Take you in the back and suck your dick. And nice guy Eddie goes, I'd go over 12% for that.
For those who don't know that, there's a scene in the beginning of Reservoir Dogs where they discuss whether or not tipping should be a thing. Very good video if you have time later on. Go check it out.
It's fantastic.
Reservoir Dogs is a great movie as well.
He's
like-
like quick watch too.
Yeah. Oh my God, it is.
It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, is that all we have on tipping?
That's all I got about
I
the
think
tip.
there was another situation where I wanted to discuss it, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So say you're like stopped along the highway, like your tire's flat. Somebody like pulls over to help you. You tip him?
I wouldn't expect it.
Like good Samaritanism. Like just somebody stops to help you. Like, do you tip him?
Let's put yourself in that situation. You want to help someone out of your own goodwill. You're not doing it expecting the guy to throw you a 20.
No.
You know, I would say no.
Would you take the money if he offered it to you?
Yeah, I'd say probably no.
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't either.
it depends how long you're out there. And I don't know.
But when does the tip culture get into the like? People do good things just to get tipped, and that's why I'm afraid. Like, you know, servers out there who are expecting tips all the time, they're not gonna do nice things for people unless they expect like good things out of it.
Well, I mean, you could I go through life saying if you put good out, you're gonna get. Yeah, if you put like good energy
put
out
out,
there, if you put out, things are gonna work out for you. No, if you like put good energy out there, you're gonna get good energy back. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I mean,
you're
we
putting
talked we
things out
talked
to get
about
money.
We talked about it. No, like I don't want money from people.
Okay.
But like, you know, it's almost like I talked about it like a couple weeks ago that we talked about on here. Like when you hold a door open for somebody, like I expect a thank you, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't expect a tip for holding the door open. Like some people,
Okay.
some people hold the door for people, and like there's probably one guy out there who thinks like, and there's probably more, who hold the door open for somebody like and expect like more than a thank you.
I hate when you hold the door for someone and they look away.
Yeah.
That drives me up a fucking wall.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And that's just like fixing some guy's tire. It's like you're doing it, again, to put the good energy out there. But, I don't know. It's not something people do for money normally. I'd say that's separate.
You want to be a good person.
Yeah.
You just help people out. Mm-hmm. You hold the door, you know. And, last night, some fucking chick face planted in the fucking street. And she had friends around her, and I wanted to like stop and see if she was okay. She just fucking face planted. I don't know. She was probably drunk, but I wanted to see if she was okay. But in that situation, her friends were probably like, "Oh, what a creepy guy." He was asking if she was okay. Like, you fell in the street. Like, why am I a creep for seeing if you're okay?
That's just one of those double standards, but that's
bullshit.
different. I mean, it's nice to have concern, but she was like, and I said the same thing to you last night. Like, she was good. She had like 8 friends with her. It's nice to ask.
I kept walking.
I also did. That's the kind of people we are. You're different than us.
Yeah, it's still like, what if she didn't get up? It's like, oh, she's okay. Somebody will call an ambulance.
Yeah, if she were alone, then I'd be like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Like, that's someone you should be worried about if they're falling in the street alone. It definitely is a lot creepier than if you're the guy that's
Learn
approaching.
how to handle your fucking liquor.
That too.
Moral of the story.
That's the lesson, kids.
Generally, we should have just stayed in last night.
Oh yeah, we should not have drank.
Well, we should have drank. We just shouldn't have gone out.
Mm-hmm.
But because we
now we're on alcohol. It's
we ended up with the fucking nachos, and Mike didn't get the right nachos, and some really drunk chick called me gorgeous. That was kind of funny.
That was nice. That always helps.
Not really.
Oh.
Because, like, I don't know, because maybe I'm only gorgeous when chicks are fucking obliterated.
Well, guys, is that all we have on tipping?
Just the tip.
Yeah, just the tip.
Just the tip.
Then the shaft.
What movie are what
It.
movie
It.
we're reviewing it next week?
Stephen King's It.
I look forward to that. You want me to do a formal outro or just a? That's the theme from It, which will be.
It sounds exactly like that.
We're gonna be reviewing next week. It's not. It's not gonna be in the
does.
movie next week, but it's from the old one.
But I hope the
Yeah,
like,
I hope that's in
it.
it.
Yeah, because that's cool. That's creepy in the trailers.
Now you want the formal outro?
You do what you got to do.
I'll do it relaxed, but I'm gonna do the old one. And that
I'm gonna eat a Kit
is
Kat.
this week's podcast. Remember that each and every Monday morning we're uploading to YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. We're gonna have
Tomorrow's
links.
Labor Day. Enjoy your day off, but listen to this podcast on your day off.
It should be uploaded tomorrow. Today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday, where we upload every Monday morning to YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. We're going to have links to those on our Facebook and Twitter page. We're going to have those in the description. Let's go eat some crawfish.
I agree. Love the listeners. Keep listening. Help us out. I appreciate the love.
And as always, thank you for listening.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us.